Hey guys, today we are answering one question, and that is, are 360 cameras the future of action cameras? Thanks for tuning in. I am Dustin with the LoamWolf.com, and today I'm here to talk to you about action cameras, specifically this one right here, the One X2 from Insta360. Since this showed up, we've been using it on a bunch of the projects to add that extra edge to a bunch of the videos that you see here on the channel. And we've been super impressed with what the One X2 has to offer. Now the One X2 offers everything that you would expect from an action camera. It's got really good image quality, the stabilization, the battery life, all the accessories you can imagine. And one thing that's cool is Insta360 actually offers different bundles for each industry kind of, and so they sent us out the bike bundle, and it comes with all the accessories you can imagine to mount it on the bike and mount it on the person while they're riding to get all the really cool perspectives that you're looking for. Now I don't want to bore you on all the nerdy tech details that this thing has, but that'll be linked below if you want to check into that and see further. But I do want to highlight some of the more important key features that, well, are important to us and I imagine important to you. We've all been running action cameras for years now, since honestly 2006 when the first GoPro came out. And they've come a long ways over the last few years. I mean, battery life, image quality, stabilization. I mean, they didn't have it to begin with. So, I mean, they've come a long ways and we use them constantly. But the unicorn that's always eluded us these last few years has been one of these. The 360 camera. So when Insta360 hit us up and said, hey guys, we got a surprise for you, we were beyond stoked when this showed up in the mail, and we've been putting it through the ringer ever since. We've taken it from Utah to all of our projects around here in Bend. I mean, both on bikes and on the motos. I mean, we definitely have abused this thing. It has seen a lot of runtime, and I know for me on the video side, I really like this thing. We're gonna dive in a little deeper on what this one offers and see if 360 camera is the right camera for you. Now it's in the name, and I've said it about a dozen times now. This is a 360 camera, which means that it is recording in 360 mode, everything in front of it and everything behind it at 5.7K, 30 frames per second peak resolution. Now, you can put it in 180 mode and shoot just the front or just the rear, and that's at 2K, but I'll tell you why that 360 feature is a big deal for us. I can't tell you how many times we've mounted a GoPro and had it tilted too far forwards or too far up, and then you go for a ride and you get back and you're looking at the footage and half of it's unusable because you just didn't get the right framing. Now with the 360 mode, in partnership with the app, you are able to pan and move the camera angle to get what you want in frame where it should be. Now I mentioned the app, and it is vital to use the app with this. They have one for mobile and they have one for desktop. But the coolest feature of that app is the deep track mode. Now deep track allows you to plug your footage in, select an object or a person, and then you hit play and it'll automatically just track whatever that subject is through the whole clip, keeping it where you want him to be on focus, and allow for some really cool follow cam or POV that keeps everything right where it needs to be. So right here, we're using the D-Track mode to let Drew lead Sean and track Sean through all the berms and all the jumps as they smash through these trails. Last thing I want to cover is a blend of what makes the One X2 such a unique and powerful tool for me as a video editor. The sound. Out of camera, the sound is great. It has directional mics for the 360 mode, or when you put in the 180 mode, it'll only record one way or the other, as well as the wind noise reduction is on it. It doesn't sound super processed, and it really cleans up all of that wisping air as you're racing down trails. The other thing is the color. Now, I shoot everything in log, and for most of you, you probably never even heard that word beyond a tree that just fell over or something you throw on the fireplace. But what that means is it's a really flat color profile. And coming from years on GoPro, quite honestly, like, they just can't get it together. The Insta360 log profile from all the cameras that we've used from them is really on it. It's super flat, and for me that's great when we have all the leoparding and shadows and sunlight and I want to just even it out a little bit more, and then I could just add the color later and bump up that saturation to make it all vivid again. Now the last thing I want to talk about is stabilization. Now for us in the mountain bike industry, having smooth, stable footage is crucial, and we've had plenty of years without that stabilization like we see today. And the One X2 offers something that I don't quite think the GoPro does, and that is with that 360 perspective, when it crops and stabilizes your focal point, it is able to leave you with a still very wide perspective, letting you choose to go in tighter if you want to. Now with the GoPros, you're kind of maxed out, and you have to choose either how wide or how smooth do you want it to be. And sometimes when it's just cutting off at your hands, that's just not quite wide enough to really let you see the whole trail ahead of you. And that's one of the main things on the Insta360 One X2 that I like the most. Let me just say, this thing does do everything and more, and that's awesome. Not to say that there aren't a few things that are a little bit different with this specific camera. For starters, the size and shape. Now, it is pretty thin, but it's really tall, and so it takes a little while to get used to. When it's chest mounted, it kind of just feels like it's just hanging out there, or when it's on the helmet mount, you have to be careful of tree branches and other obstacles as you're going down trails because you could hit it. And hitting it is one of the biggest downfalls with any 360 camera, specifically this one. These lenses do stick out quite a bit, and I know that the learning curve, it happens quick. And we had one instance, like right when we got it, where I hooked a rock from Sean as he was in front of me on the moto, and didn't quite scratch the lens, but it left a little bit of a scuff, enough to where we didn't need to replace it, but it taught us a helpful lesson and made us understand that the little lens covers that they do sell for it are probably important if you're out in anywhere that a tire might throw something up at you. The last little thing about this that is a little goofy to me, and I get it aesthetically, it looks really pretty and it seems as though it should be that way, but the round circular screen, it kind of messes with you a little bit. Everything in our world is a square screen, so to see that round display, you kind of feel like you're not quite able to see where you need to go. And if you have larger fingers like myself, the navigation on it could be a little tricky, but it is extremely sensitive to the touch, so hitting the buttons and getting it to where you need to go, I think is easier than the GoPro. But like I said, that round screen, I kind of wish that it was square personally, just for a little bit more room to see what you recorded without having to open your phone. That's about it, folks. The One X2 from Insta360. Like I said earlier, down below we will have a link to their site, and that will have a full spec list as well as a bunch of videos that show all the features and how to unlock the full potential of this camera. I don't know about you, but I think I just resold myself on a 360 camera. I love it. The stabilization's great. The color for me is super crucial, and being able to reframe and save a lot of our clips as well as track in some of our follow cam moments, it is amazing, and I cannot wait to use it again and again. Thanks to Insta360 for sending this out to us, as well as that bike bundle. All of those mounts and the unicorn mount, I mean, they're awesome, and we try to use them as much as we can. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them down below in the comment section. We will do our best to answer what we can. And if you don't already, hit the subscribe button. That helps us out a lot. And again, thanks to Insta360 for sending this out to us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you out on the trails.